Hello everyone, in this video I am going to talk about Transit Gateway. So let us understand it in simple words. Imagine you have a group of friends and each friend live in a different house, like a VPC. If you want to talk to all your friends, you have to call each one separately. Now if you have 10 or more friends, making all these calls would be really confusing and takes a lot of effort. So AWS Transit Gateway is like a party line where everyone can connect to one central place. Instead of calling each friend individually, you call the party line and all your friends can join the same conversation. So this makes everything simpler, faster and more organized. In short, Transit Gateway is a central meeting point for all your friends to connect. Now let us see the demo, like how to perform Transit Gateway in AWS. First of all, we have a AWS Management Console. In the AWS, we have 3 VPCs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create here 3 VPC. Now let us see the demo. So first of all, you need an AWS environment, and in the AWS, you need 3 VPC. So let us create 3 VPC. So here, I'm going into the VPC. Let us see the demo. Now I will break the step one by one. So first of all, you are in your AWS. In the AWS, you need to create 3 VPC. So let me create 3 VPC. So here I will search for VPC. Select the VPC. Now click on VPC here and click on Create VPC. So I am naming it as VPC 1. Then your CIDR block. So here I am specifying it as 10.0.0.0/16. Click on Create. Similarly, I will create other 2 VPC also. So here, VPC 2, 11.0.0/16. And the third VPC. So click on Create VPC. The range is 12.0.0/16. Now click on Create VPC. Now once the VPC is created, the next step is to create 3 subnets. So what you have to do? Go to the subnet and click on Create Subnet. Now select your VPC here. Give the name of your subnet. So my subnet name is public subnet VPC 1. Now give the range. So here I am giving the range as 10.0.0.0/24. It means we have 256 IPs allocated. After that, I will click on Create Subnet. The next thing that I have to do, I have to create 2 more subnets. So let me just copy the here name. Yes. Create subnet for VPC 2. Give the name here. So I am naming it as VPC 2. CIDR block as 11.0.0/24. Click on Create Subnet. Similarly, the third subnet. (12.0.0-24). Once it is done, click on Create Subnet. Now we have created 3 subnets. The next step that we have to do is we have to attach the subnet with an internet gateway in order to make it publicly accessible. So what I will do, I will create 3 internet gateway here. So click on Create Internet Gateway. So IZ VPC 1. Now I will attach to a VPC. Click on Attach. Similarly, you will create 2 more internet gateway. IZ VPC 2. Attach to the VPC. Similarly, you have to create the third internet gateway. So IZ VPC 3. Now we have created 3 internet gateway attached to each of the VPC. So the next step that we have to do is to create 3 route tables. So you have to create 3 route table. So what I will do, I will go to here route table, click on Create Route Table. Select the VPC here. So this is my first VPC. Now click on Create Route Table. Now what you have to do, you have to associate the subnet with it. So click on Subnet Association and edit the subnet here. The next thing that you have to do is you have to edit the routes. So click on Edit Routes, add route here, select anywhere, and the target is our internet gateway. Now click on Save Changes. Now the first route table is configure. Now go to route table again and create it for second and third VPC. So let me create it. Now go to Subnet Association, click on Edit Subnet Association and attach the subnet. Next, you have to edit the routes, anywhere, and the internet gateway. Similarly, you have to create the third route table. Click on Subnet Association, edit Subnet Association and attach this subnet. Similarly, now you have to edit the route here, attach the internet gateway, so anywhere, and here you have to specify the internet gateway. Now, what we have done, we have created the internet gateway and created the route table. Once this thing is done, now you have to do one more thing, which is called as Transit Gateway. So here I have to create a Transit Gateway. Now go to Transit Gateway, click on Create Transit Gateway. Now make the name as PZ. Here it is asking for ASN number, so you don't have to, you can leave it as default. Amazon will assign it to you. Once it is done, click on Create Transit Gateway. Now it will take some time. Once the transit gateway will be created, after that what you have to do, you have to attach the transit gateway. So here you have to go to transit gateway attachment. You have to create 3 transit gateway attachment for each of the VPC. So here I am doing for DG, VPC 1. Here I am selecting the transit gateway. So just wait for a minute. Okay. So TG, VPC 1. Now there are various attachment types such as VPC, VPN, peering connection and connect. You have to select here VPC. Next, here what you have to do, you have to select your VPC ID. So currently I am doing it for VPC 1. So what I'll select? VPC 1. Once this thing is done, you have to click on Create Transit Gateway Attachment. Similarly, what you have to do, you have to create it for second and third VPC also. So create Transit Gateway. Name it as TG VPC 2. Second year, second VPC. Click on Create Transit Gateway and the third one. Select the gateway ID and here VPC. Select the VPC here, VPC 3 and click on Create Transit Gateway Attachment. Now what we have done, we have created 3 transit gateway attachment. So the next thing that you have to do, you have to configure the route table and inform that you have configured the TZ attachment. So what I will do, I will go to route table. I am configuring the first route table. Click on Edit Routes. So here what you have to do, 10 can communicate with 11 also and 12 also. So first of all, you will specify 11. Next, you have to select here the transit gateway. So here there is transit gateway and you have to select it out. Similarly, you have to create it for 12 also. Select transit gateway. And here what you have to do, you have to select it out. Now click on Save Changes. Similarly, you have to configure the other route table also. Now go to route table, go to the second route table, click on Edit. Now 11 can communicate with 10 and 12 also. So let me specify 10 here first of all. Select the transit gateway. Similarly, I will specify here 12. Specify the transit gateway. Now click on Save Changes. Next, you have to configure for third route table also. So select the third route table. Click on Edit Route. Now 12 can communicate with 10 and 11. So let me specify 11. Select here Transit Gateway. and here specify 10. Now, once this thing is done, the next step that we have to do is we have to create 3 EC2 instances. So search here EC2. Now click on instance running and click on launch instance. First of all, I am creating EC2 for VPC1. So EC2 for VPC1. The AMI that I am going to select here is Ubuntu. Instance type is t2.micro. Key pair login. So you can click on create new key pair. So let me name it as key1. Now you have to edit the network setting. So click on edit. By default, it is selected the default VPC. You have to select the first. Here you have to assign the public IP, make it enable so that people can access it. Next thing is you have to configure your security group. So here, currently it is SSH only. Now what I want to do, I want to allow HTTP port also. So what I will do, I will click on add security group. Select HTTP. Source type is anywhere. Next thing what you have to do, go to advanced detail. And in the user data, you have to paste this commands. It is also available in the description. You can check it out. Once this thing is done, what you have to do, you have to click on launch instance. Next, I have to create the second EC2 for VPC. So click on launch instance. So here what I am doing, EC2 for VPC2. The MI is Ubuntu as it is. Instance type is t2.micro. Key pair login you can create here. So let me make it as key2. In the network settings, you have to click on edit. And here you have to select VPC2. And you have to enable the public IP. And the security group you have to allow HTTP port also. Source type is anywhere. Now in the user data section, what you have to? You have to paste the details. It will show you your host name and your IP address. Now click on launch instance. Similarly, you can create for third EC2 also. So EC2, VPC3, Ubuntu, create your key pair. So I'm creating it as key3. Network settings, what you have to do? Currently it is default, select it to VPC3. Public IP, make it enable. And here, what you have to add? HTTP port. Source type is anywhere. Next thing, you have to go to user data and fill all the details. Now click on launch instance. Once the instances are created, the next step is to check for the each instance. So let me go to the running ones. Now you can check whether each one is running or not. Select it and copy the public IPv4 address and paste it here. So we can see that the first EC2 is running. Similarly, I can do it for second and third. Copy the IPv4. And here we can see the second EC2 is also running. Now I can check for third. Copy the public IPv4 address and check it here. You can see it is also running. Now we have checked that all the EC2 are running. The next step is to log in through the EC2, each EC2. In order to do that, what you have to do, you have to select the first one and click on Connect. Here you have to go to SSH client. Next, what you have to do, you have to open your command prompt. Here, make sure you have WSL installed. The command is WSL-install. So with this command, you can install the WSL in your system. Now make it open. So I have opened the WSL here. I am configuring for the first VPC. So the first thing that you have to do is, you have to move your keys to this location. So the command to do that is move command and the location, the key name to this location. Now press enter. After that, what you have to do, you have to allow this port. So basically you have to make the permissions enable. So you have to do chmod 400 and then your location. So here, this is my location, key 1.10. Now click on enter. Once this thing is done, the next step is to log in into the EC2 for VPC1. So you have to copy this thing, paste it here. Little bit changes will be needed. So here you have to specify the exact location, else it will throw an error. Once this thing is done, click on enter. Type S. Now we have successfully logged in into the first EC2. Similarly, what you have to do, you have to log in through the second EC2 and third EC2 also. So let me do that. Open a new CMD. Open WSL here. Now go to second instance. Click on connect. Here, what you have to do, first of all, you have to move your key to this location. So in order to do that, you have to use this command. Not this one. Basically, you have to use this command. You have to use this command. Now press enter. Now you have to enable the permissions here. So chmod 400 and the exact location. So the location is key2.pem. Once it is done, now what you have to do, you have to SSH into the second EC2. So make it copy. Little bit changes will be needed here. You have to specify the exact location. Now I have login into my second EC2. Similarly, what you have to do, you have to log in into the third EC2. So go to the third instance. Click on connect. Now open CMD here, WSL. Now what you have to do, you have to use the move command. Next, press enter. Next, press enter. Now you have to enable the permissions. So I am doing chmod 400 on this key. So let me specify the name here, key3.pem. Next thing what you have to do, you have to SSH into the third EC2. So you have to copy this thing and paste it here. Specify the exact location and press enter. Type S and you are into the third EC2. Now make it clear. Now what I will do, I will try to connect with each. So currently I am in the first EC2. Now I will try to access the second and third. So for that you have to use the curl command and specify the second IP address. So here it is 11.0.0.27. So here we can see we are able to access the second EC2. Similarly, let us access the third. 12.0.0.229. So I am able to access the third EC2 also from the first EC2. Similarly, here you can call 10.0.0.203. Now you can call the third one 12.0.0.229. Similarly, you can do the same thing here. Curl 10.0.0.27. Okay, sorry, it is not 27. Basically, it is 203. So let me specify it 203. Similarly, I will call 11.0.0.27. Now here we can see that we have successfully seen the demo of Transit Gateway. One VPC is allowed to communicate with the other VPCs present in the network. Now if you like it, you can do subscribe.